What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black, STEVEE, the Black. I'm back, and it's been a long time. I think it's been about almost a week. How you guys been? I would have made a video last week after the Super Bowl, but after the Super Bowl, I got sick, and I was sick all week. In bed, throat hurting, allergies acting up. It's just, oh man, craziness. But gotta move on. Gotta move on. I'm feeling much better now, and I just wanted to get into this. I mean, it's not the official league year yet, but I'm just gonna do a what do you call it? A very early, and I mean very early. We're only like a week away from the Super Bowl, but a very early 2019 season predictions video. So with that being said, yesterday I was on the computer and I just decided to let me look up the opponents that the Eagles will be facing the this coming season. And I looked at everyone else's in the NFC East as well. But so I looked at the Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, and Eagles, and I came to the conclusion that the Eagles are going to win the division. But, you know, I could have came to that conclusion without even looking at the schedules or the opponents. But anyway, hold on, give me a second. That's what I thought who it was. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So I came to the conclusion that the Washington Redskins will be in last place. They will be 7-9 based on their opponents and their schedule. Now that's as of right now, because obviously we don't know who their quarterback's gonna be. It could be Josh Johnson. It could be Mark Sanchez. They could go somewhere in the draft, or they could get someone in free agency like a Teddy Bridgewater or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, remember I said this is my very, very early season predictions video. I have the Washington Redskins going 7-9. I looked at the New York Giants schedule and I said to myself, well, I mean, they were kind of goodish in the middle of the package type of team last year. You know, they weren't as horrible. You know, they got Saquon. They can't be that horrible. You know, they got Odell. You know, they still got Sterling Shepard and they got Evan Ingram at their tight end position, I think his name is. And so I came to the conclusion, yes, Eli Manning is horrible. Yes, the offensive line is trash, but somehow, some way, they're going to get to 9 wins, and I predict that the New York Giants will go 9-7. Then I get to the Dallas Cowboys, and I went through their schedule, and it pains me to say that the Dallas Cowboys, based on the early season record, they will be going 11-5. 11-5 in the division. That means not only are they winning 11 games, but that just means they're going back to the playoffs. And I'm just sitting here and I'm going, well, remember, because Jason Garrett's job on the line, so it pains me, but it also is like, I don't know, like, he's going to give it everything he's got, right? And then I looked at the Eagles schedule and I have us winning, going 13-3 again. So you're probably saying to yourself, how the heck are the Eagles going 13-3? Well, I look at this schedule and it doesn't seem that hard. So let's look at the schedule. So obviously we got the NFC East teams first. I think we're gonna go 5-1 in the NFC East. If I had a pen and paper near me, hold on. I just need some paper. Over here. Okay. So 5-1. Right? In the NFC East. Sweeping the Giants, sweeping the Redskins, and splitting with the Dallas Cowboys, because you know that just always seems to happen. With that being said, though, If you were to ask me what opponent I would want to face first, no hands, question down, it's the Dallas Cowboys. If you remember a couple years ago when we went on our Super Bowl run, who we faced first? We faced the Washington Redskins. And I said that was a very important game, and I'm glad we faced the Redskins first. Why? Because the Redskins had beaten us 5 times in a row, and we had to handle that business right now. That's how you know it was a turnaround season. By beating the Washington Redskins, by beating Kirk Cousins, and we accomplished that goal, and we beat them. So, because we got swept by the Dallas Cowboys last year, we need to face them first. So, I don't care if it's in Philly. I don't care if it's in Dallas. I don't care if it's on a college campus. I don't care if it's on a high school campus. I don't care if it's in my backyard, front yard, in the field right across the street. It could be in my room. It can be in Madden. But we will be facing the Dallas Cowboys first. That's who I want to face first. And I want to get that monkey off our back that the Dallas Cowboys fans think that they're holding on us, even though we got eliminated in the same round. But hey, whatever. Whatever helps you sleep at night, Dallas Cowboy fans. Whatever helps you sleep at night. But anyway, I think we face the Dallas Cowboys first. Depending on where we lose to them to at, I don't know. But we split with them as we always do, and we go 5-1 in the division. Next, we are at the Chicago Bears. At first, I had this as a loss, right? You know, the whole double doink thing, right? But then I said to myself, the Bears defensive coordinator, he's leaving. He's gone. He's gone off to be a head coach somewhere. I'm not sure where. But that means that their defense shouldn't be as prolific as it was last year. Even if he had stayed, it wouldn't be. Because every year in the NFL, your teams are different. Despite what you did good last year, unless your name is the New England Patriots, there's no way you're going to do the same thing again. For example, how do I know this? Because the Minnesota Vikings, they were the number 1 defense last year, or the year before, I guess. This year, they were like, 10th? They were top 10, but they weren't that good. They weren't as good as they were the year before. So, there's going to be some drop-off. Even though it's at Chicago, I think the Eagles can go back to Soldier Field with Carson Wentz this time and get the job done and beat the Chicago Bears. I mean, despite anything else, it's still Mitchell Trubisky, and we held him in check for most of the game. Next, we have the Detroit Lions. I think we're going to beat Detroit Lions. Yeah, it's just Detroit Lions ain't good. You know, the only thing you could say that's interesting about this game is Matt Patricia is the head coach, obviously, and he was the defensive coordinator when we torched his defense in the Super Bowl, so it will be interesting to see what he has planned. But, again, we're talking about Matthew Stafford, and he's not very good, so I'm going to have to go with the Eagles on that. Not too worried. Then, we're at Green Bay. I have that as a loss. We just can't, for whatever reason, beat Aaron Rodgers. We just can't. And if it was in Philly, I might give us a chance, but it's not in Philly. It's at Green Bay, so we're going to lose. At the Minnesota Vikings. This one also was conflicting me, but I was saying to myself, we are going back to where our greatest achievement was, to where we won the Super Bowl. I would think that the team would want to play at its absolute best, but I could also imagine the Minnesota Vikings trying to play spoiler to that, but I have the Eagles winning because we own the Vikings. Last year was an anomaly. Everything just went wrong at the wrong time during that wrong time stretch, and the Minnesota Vikings were part of that. But I think that the Eagles should be able to beat the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota. Should be a tough game, but I think we can win. Next, at the Buffalo Bills, Eagles taking on Shady McCoy at his place this time. Buffalo Bills don't scare me. Eagles should win that game pretty handily. Next, Eagles at Miami Dolphins. Again, Miami Dolphins, not really that hard. Ryan Tannehill, not Ryan Tannehill. Eagles should win that game pretty handily. Not worried. This is where it gets interesting. The New England Patriots coming to Philadelphia. When the NFL or ESPN, whatever, Fox, they put out a list and they said games that what most people are going to watch. They put the Dallas Cowboys versus New England, which I understand that's a ratings grab right there. That is. But you mean to tell me that that's a bigger matchup than the Eagles and the Patriots in a Super Bowl 52 rematch? Are you kidding me? That is total disrespect right there. But I have the Eagles beating the New England Patriots because they have to win that game. Why do they have to win that game? Because to me, that would solidify us beating the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Not that I don't think it's justified, but over the last couple of days / weeks, I've been hearing people saying that the way that the Patriots looked defensively, that he owed Tom Brady. That because he benched Malcolm Butler the year before, that the Eagles torched. That's the only reason why the Eagles won. That's the only reason why Nick Foles looked the way he did. Because Doug Peterson and were taking advantage of Bill Belichick's dumb decision, of Bill Belichick's pride. He put his pride before the team and all this and that. That's the vibe I'm getting from everybody. And I don't like it. So how do you do that? How do you quiet those critics? You beat them again. You beat them again. Since 2015, the Eagles are 2-0 against the New England Patriots in games that matter. I don't count the preseason. Who cares about that? In 2015, when we went to New England and beat them, and obviously in the Super Bowl, we need to solidify. We need to solidify that Super Bowl win and victory. So that's a game we have to win. That's a game that will be hyped up, and that's a game I'm looking forward to. Absolutely. Eagles have to win that game, which is why I'm putting it as a win. Eagles against New York Jets. Again, see no problem there. Eagles should win very well. Handle the team very well. That should be a win. Seattle Seahawks at Philadelphia. I'm going to chalk that up as a loss because just like Aaron Rodgers, for whatever reason, the Eagles just can't seem to beat Russell Wilson. So I'm going to chalk that up as a loss. And then last but not least, we have the Atlanta Falcons. And just like the Vikings, we own the Falcons. Except this time it'll be in Atlanta. So I have the Eagles beating them as well. And that is my early season predictions video. I think the Eagles should face the Dallas Cowboys. I want them to face the Dallas Cowboys in game number 1. I think that the Eagles' schedule is not as hard as it looks. Will it be difficult? Yes, but I think the Eagles overall can be 13-3. Now, obviously, depending on where we face these people at, maybe I'll change my mind. Like I said, it's very early season predictions. But I think the Eagles get back to number 1 seed, and I've already predicted, and I've said it. I don't know if I've said it on here, but I have said it on my Facebook page. The Eagles will go back to the Super Bowl. The Eagles will be in Super Bowl 54. I believe that. Kareem Hunt got picked up by the Browns. Now, obviously, I know it would have been a controversial thing if the Eagles had got him, and I wasn't advertising it rather, but I was hoping that the Eagles would at least take the position seriously. And so by the fact that he got picked up by the Browns, I know he wouldn't have been there and available at the beginning of the season. He probably would have been on like 10 games or something like that. Right? But, dang. So that means that the Eagles some way, somehow have to get Le'Veon Bell. Figure it out. Get it done. I believe in Howie Roseman. Get it done. Obviously we still got Alshon. We got Ertz. We got Goddard. We got Nelson Aguilar. Speaking of the slot receiver, I know this has been so long. I'm sorry. But Golden Tate, he put out a tweet that, I'm trying to think, somebody had re-signed somebody. I gave an extension to somebody. And Golden Tate tweeted, "Oh, you don't have to wait till March. Thanks for letting me know." And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. Why? What's up with that? Like, I didn't think the Eagles were ever going to re-sign this or give this man an extension anyway. Like, I don't know what he's so upset about. I mean, unless he really loves Philly that much. But he wasn't really used much. Now, the only grand thing about him, he only had 2 moments. The Monday night game against the Redskins, and obviously the game where he caught the game-winning touchdown in the playoffs against Chicago. But other than that, I mean, the man really didn't do anything. Now, is that on him or is it on Mike Groh or Doug Peterson? You can argue, but look, right now, he's better at the slot than Nelson Aguilar. He is. But Nelson Aguilar, I believe, has the better potential. A lot of people say he took a step back, but I'm like, well, that's because he was in the wrong position. We know he can't play outside receiver, so why is he playing on the outside? The year he flourished in the slot. So keep him in the slot. That's just stupid. If you would take somebody out of their comfort zone to be something that they're not. If they're not that, which we saw 2 years earlier, 2 straight years for him to be the outside receiver, and he couldn't be that. But the moment you put him in the slot and he thrives, what do you think? Why would you take him out of that? Now, as for Mike Wallace, I mean, I don't know if they bring him back. I mean, he never really played for the Eagles. He only played 2 games, and I mean, then he got his broke foot, so he could bring him back. I wouldn't be upset if they brought him back. There's always the Deshaun Jackson thing. I don't know, but then again, I don't like bringing back old players for nostalgia reasons. That's why I didn't want Shady to come back, even though I love Shady. So I don't know about that, but the fact of the matter is, this Eagles team, man, you can say everything about this Nick Foles thing, everything about Carson Wentz not being a leader, him being selfish. That's all got to be put behind us. The moment training camp starts, that's all got to be put behind us. I believe this team still has a chance to win the Super Bowl. We are still in that championship window. But they've got to come together, do what they've got to do. And like I said, I think they're getting Le'Veon Bell. You reassure that offense. Maybe Mike Groh needed another year. I want to contribute to it being Mike Groh's first year plus Carson Wentz coming off of injury. Because again, if you look at it, when Nick Foles came in, and maybe it was just because Doug Peterson called a different game, but when Nick Foles came in, 30 points, 32 points, 24 points, 16 points, and then 14 points. Now, those last 2 games, obviously, I'm not really mad about the Bears game because that's against the number 1 defense. I didn't expect it to be 30s in that one. But the one against New Orleans was disappointing. So, I don't know. But I'm willing to give him one last chance. Obviously, you got the offensive line. I don't know. I'm willing to give Jason Peters one last chance if he can really get healthy this offseason. Because just like Carson Wentz, he was coming off a nasty knee injury. So, then there's Jason Kelce and him talking about retiring or not. I don't think he will. Then there's Brandon Brooks, with I think it's Achilles. So, he may miss a game or 2. So, just have Wisniewski ready for him, his spot. Have Jordan Mailata ready, because Big V, we're going to get into all that during the offseason and during the season and everything like that. But the bottom line is this. I believe the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. That is my season prediction. I have been on that since last year. I've said that this is the Eagles road back on the road to hashtag on the road to 54. Like in their song, On the Road to Victory, hashtag on the road to 54. Do what you gotta do. Get back to the Super Bowl. How do I know? When they lost that game to New Orleans, the way they lost, they were right there, and they cost themselves that game. You could feel the emotion and the sadness. I felt it in the video that I was watching. Doug Peterson standing outside, hugging all the players, giving the emotional speech in the locker room, trying to hold back tears himself, being a true leader and head coach. How it hurts them all that they were 2 minutes away from the NFC Championship game and a game away from going back to the Super Bowl. This team is going to get back. This team is the best team in the NFC East. As I said, it's very early, but we can be looking at 13 wins right here. We'll see how I feel later on down the line, but right now I got us at 13-3. That should be enough for a top 2 seed. You know, the Saints, shoot. I mean, we'll see. The Rams, I mean, who really in the NFC scares you? I mean, you could say there's a Saints, maybe Rams. They're gonna take a step back this year after being beat down and embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Atlanta, no. Maybe the Cowboys. You know, the Bears. You know, with their defense, Khalil Mack. I mean, there's not that many teams in the NFC that's, you know, that's scary. You know, so I got the Eagles still as a top 5 team in the NFC, maybe top 3. We will be getting back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 54. Book it. I'm tired of looking at hype videos. I'm tired of looking at the Super Bowl game from last year. I'm ready to look at 2020 on when's Super Bowl 54? When is Super Bowl 54? February 2nd. February 2nd, 2020. The Eagles will be in Miami. They will be there. Book it. As to who their opponents right now, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I got the Chiefs. I don't think that the Patriots are going to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. I mean, you could say, oh, they ain't got no defense. Well, I mean, their defense was trash. So, I mean, really, all they need is an average defense. If they get an average defense, I think they can beat the Patriots. Because they got the firepower to do it. See, the thing is, the Chiefs adjusted. They adjusted. Sean McVay, don't let that fool you. Sean McVay did not adjust. He kept doing the same exact thing. Doug Peterson adjusted. Andy Reid and the Chiefs adjusted. It's just that, you know, in overtime, Brady got the ball back and took him down the field. Anyway, that's about it. I'm so sorry that this video was so long. I didn't mean for it to be, but that is my early season prediction. Eagles going back to Super Bowl on the road to 54. We will be back. And if you're not down with that, I've just got 3 words for you. Fly, Eagles, fly. Look forward to my Elimination Chambers predictions video Thursday, Friday. So, till then, peace out, guys.